Okay, so we are now live here at Pageant Hub again for our 8 p.m. live talk with my guest for tonight, Mia Bernielle de la Cerna, Miss Philippines Earth 2020, Malita Davao Occidental. Good evening, Mia. Thank you for joining me. Kamusta?
I'm fine. Though, excited din siya kasi malapit na din matatapos yung show on July 5. But still, I find it, as a challenge. And I am excited also.
So, I've seen the schedule for this week. Medyo loaded na. I think
Yeah,
tomorrow is the announcement of the top 10 for Hana. And
yeah.
then you have the sports competition. And yung last pre-judging round, yung intelligence round by Saturday. Saturday ba yun? Saturday
And
ba yun?
yeah, the 20.
Yeah. So, let's talk about how has your Miss Philippines Earth journey been so far?
Actually, since first time ko na national pageant, so at first, excited ako masyado kasi hindi lahat ng nasa Mindanao, bihira lang nakakasali sa national pageant. And then, also, I find it interesting, lalo na we're on, especially since it's COVID, so we have to do it virtually. So, it's my first time hearing a virtual pageant. So, yun, I take it as a challenge kasi virtual siya. So, kakaiba siya. So, we have to do our best kasi it's different from the usual pageant that we do.
Okay, so what are the challenges that have you faced when it comes to it Miss Philippines Earth being a virtual pageant?
So the challenges here, especially sa virtual, is especially the connection. Because once you don't have a strong internet connection, kasi kahit gaano kaganda yung outfit mo or kahit ka gaano kaganda ang performance mo, pag once ang internet connection mo magloko, so it would affect your whole performance. Kasi last beachwear attire, talaga I do experience that one. Kasi we have this, fail yung camera namin, then the internet is not that strong. Kasi we do find, naghahanap kami ng area kung saan mabibigyan namin ng magandang background yung walk namin. So, not knowing na, yung sa area na yun, hindi masyado malakas ang signal. That's the challenge there. And also, since we are still under GCQ, so we are not allowed, hindi, limited lang yung galaw namin. So, hindi kami basta-basta nakakalabas ng bahay anytime we wanted. So, we have to maximize our space just to have this, just to have a good stage, a good, para makarampa.
So, meron ka namang support group diyan sa every time, 'di ba? Napapansin ko kasi pag virtual presentation yun, meron kayong mga background. Pagandahan din kayo ng background eh. So,
Yeah.
ang yung sa'yo, meron kang parang support system na tumutulong sa'yo kada may
Yes,
competition mag-setup.
yes po, I do have my team. So, sila din ang nag-assign kung ano ang placing namin, saan kami, ano ang ilalagay sa stage, kung maganda ba siya para saan. Before we do the actual presentation kasi, we do a test on how would it look like, especially sa Zoom. And then the staging itself, if ma-fit ba. So, that's how our team works.
Okay, so let's talk about your advocacy. I've read on your Instagram account that you've been advocating for heritage and actually dalawa yung nabasa ko eh,
Yeah.
heritage and cultural preservation. Can you shed some light on the first one, the first advocacy that you have?
Which one? The heritage?
Yes, yes.
So, since I'm a social studies major. I graduated in bachelor secondary majoring social studies. So I wanted, especially I'm into the indigenous people. So I give importance to them. Kasi usually sa society, hindi man siya, even though sinasabi tanggap ang mga IT, but in reality, especially when I conducted a research during college days, I realized na ang mga students, especially those who are IPs na nag-aaral on the city, they experience different different encounters. Some are being bullied. It's because of their race or of their tribe, and also some are being discriminated na since IP sila, sinasabihan sila na mababa sila, wala silang mararating. So that's why in order for them to cope up with the people in the urban areas, so they have to there's a possibility kasi na tinatago nila ang pagiging IP nila. So para lang matanggap ng ibang tao. So that is why I wanted them to embrace their being pagka-IP, to never be ashamed kasi especially here in Mindanao wouldn't be called Mindanao if not because of different tribes. So that's why I really advocate for preserving their culture. It's because they have something to offer and they have good stories to tell to us.
Have you started on a project about heritage and cultural preservation, or if not, have how do you have plans of starting projects with regards to that advocacy?
I do plan to join, and then also if I could earn a lot more, especially from my income, I would plan to help the organization that I did last year. So I want to help the Pomonan organization. It's a organization na nasa isang Davao City National High School. So yun ang organization, what they do is every start ng class, nagbibigay sila ng mga, what do you call this one, school supplies sa mga indigenous people. So if given the chance, I would like to help that organization para mas maging madami silang matulungan.
Okay, so yung second one is you're also advocating for good solid waste management.
Yes.
So can you also shed some light about that?
So my advocacy is proper solid waste management. Its concern is to maintain a healthier ocean, especially sa Malita. Since I represent Malita on a national level, I'm the first Malitanya to be on a national pageant. So my purpose is that not just to showcase the beauty of Malita, since Malita is very known for having beautiful beaches. And it's not that discovered pa kasi Malita just separated from Davao del Sur 2013. So it's not that known especially sa ibang lugar. So I want them to discover Malita. So Malita has a good beach, especially this what they call the Malita dives. There you can see the largest cabbage coral reef, and then sa Malita you can also see a lot of dugongs. Luckily, meron din iba na nakaka-encounter ng mga dugong, which is very rare lang yan nangyayari. And then also, that's why my advocacy is for proper solid waste management, because I want to continue what our municipality is doing to maintain our oceans clean.
Okay, so ang ganda nung advocacy niya. Actually, I've been asking that. Nakailang girls na ako. I've been trying to weigh in on their advocacy, and all of you have different advocacies relevant to the places that you represent in Miss Philippines Earth. Now, since we've talked about yung helping indigenous people, what would you say, what are your thoughts about yung, 'di ba ngayon, there are talks na ika-cancel yung class openings, 'di ba? Parang hangga't wala pang vaccine, walang face-to-face classes. So, what are your thoughts about yung ganung scenario when it comes to yung mga batang indigenous people? So, how would you weigh on that?
So that's the issue din. Kasi as a teacher myself, iba nga kahit hindi sila IP, umaanga lang iba kasi hindi lahat may pera, may work ang parents. Hindi lahat malakas ang strong connection. So hindi lahat especially yung mga nasa bukid, hindi lahat mayroong internet. So that's the struggle there. We hindi din natin kasi pwede i-push yung face-to-face class kasi it would put risk on our health, di ba? So especially for the IP, na talagang mahihirapan sila to, kahit sabihin nilang online class, but not all, hindi lahat may kakayahan to have this online class. Hindi lahat, minsan nga sa bukid, hindi lahat may kuryente. Hindi lahat, hindi din lahat, kung wala nang kuryente, wala din namang work ang parents nila. So, di ba mas inuuna kung saan magsusurvive ang tao. So, I think what they should do right now is, since kahit nasa bahay sila, they have to find ways wherein they can still learn. So while on house, pwede din naman silang try to read books na available sa bahay nila, try to improve their skills which they wanted to improve, just like me, what I'm doing. I do improve myself, especially in the field of art, since I'm a visual arts teacher. So that's how I do it. You have to keep on learning even if you're not in school. Kasi learning is not hindi mo siya nakikita sa school lang. You can always see it everywhere.
Ayun. So, ayan na, point taken. Learning is everywhere. Hindi porket wala ka sa school, stop
Wala kang
learning
learning.
na.
Yeah.
So, continuous dapat tayo ng learning experience.
And also,
So,
experience is the best learning na naman. So, you
oh,
have to experience things for you to learn.
oo, oo, I agree kasi hindi naman lahat nakukuha sa classroom experience.
Yeah.
So, yung classroom kasi puro theory lang din yan. You exchange thoughts pero kailangan mo din ng practical experience when it comes to life din in general. Hindi naman lahat ng natututunan sa school ng experiences ng tao. Okay, so moving forward, we'll talk about yung how has the pageant experience been aside from it being virtual? Can you share to us your experience with Miss Philippines Earth? Kasi
So,
almost half, ano na ba? Ano na ba date ngayon? June 14 na ngayon. Then we have more less than 3 weeks before the competition ends on July 5. So, can you share to us your experiences when on your Miss Philippines Earth journey?
so actually, this experience, madami akong natutunan. I value, especially the team that I have. Kasi there are times, hindi mo naman matatanggal sa isang team na nag-aaway-away. So you have to value your friendship over the misunderstanding. So what we do is we do understand each other. And then, ang isa ko din natutunan is that, kasi dalawang live shows na I consider myself as weak kasi may palpak, especially sa exposure ko, the internet connection, that one. So what I did is, since I feel down during that time, kasi feeling ko kasi dalawang shows ang nasayang sa akin. So what I did is I do have this positive mindset na since it's too down, I still have 4 live shows to go. So I have to make bawi. So bawi lang talaga. So that experience also helps me grow. Kasi dati, emotional ako na tao kasi. Mabilis ako umiyak, mabilis ako ma-down. But through this Miss Earth, I've learned na hindi sa isang pangyayari lang na babago. You can still change the whatever will happen. So may chance pang bumawi, may chance pang matuto.
Okay, so sabi ng aking blog partner, what makes you different from the other girls competing for Miss Philippines Earth?
So, kasi naman, we are all unique, di ba? So, we are all different. So, if I could, for me, what makes me different is that I join, not just for experience only, for gaining the title, but I join for a purpose na, kasi sumali ako sa Miss Earth at first, with the purpose lang to bring Malita on a regional level. But luckily, I was given a chance to bring it on a national level. So since nabigyan ako ng chance, so I would take this chance to let people see not just the beauty of Malita, but also we, the Malitanos, how we take care of the environment. Because we want to be a role model kasi we do care about the environment. We do strict monitoring, especially for our garbage. We do strict managerial things, especially sa beaches. So that's what I wanted to show na as long as organized and united ang tao, then you can have a magandang place. So that's what I wanted to show to other places also.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? I'm taking questions from the page actually.
Mm. I guess in the next 10 years, aside from teaching, since it is my job naman, so kasi I plan to pursue also fine arts kasi hindi ako pinayagan dati na mag-take ng fine arts. So 10 years from now, I think I would be a famous artist just like my idol Kublai Milan.
Oh, yun pala. Yun pala. So, 10 years from now, abangan natin si Mian
Are you
as
familiar with Kublai Milan?
naririnig ko siya pero hindi ako masyadong hindi ako masyadong
Familiar?
familiar. So, abangan natin si Mia 10 years from now as a fine arts expert, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So, so would like to greet muna si fellow Eco Angel mo is also watching, si June Syra Pineda of Talacogan,
Oh,
Agusan del
she's
Sur.
a friend of mine. She's really good. I swear. She's so... Kaya nga blessed siya masyado. Kasi masyado siyang mabait. And I like her. I really like her.
Ayun. So, since nasabi mo yung friendship when it comes to your fellow Eco Angels, since virtual yung competition, how would you consider yourself, your relationship with your fellow contestants?
My my relationship with mother, especially sa Mindanao, na kami yung late na pumasok sa national pageant. So, especially sa Mindanao na hindi namin nakikita, hindi kami nagkakita personal.
Oo.
Kasi hindi pa nag-run ng show dito sa Mindanao, naabutan na kami ng COVID. So, we're not given the time to know each other, to see each other. So, naging close na kami when sa GC namin. So, kasi feeling namin dati, yung parang feeling mo, yung kayo lang na iba doon. So, doon, hinanap namin yung support system within with our sa Mindanao. So during the time, we share problems, we find solution through GCs. And then that's how naging close kami. And I consider our friendship not just for the pageant purpose, but a friendship that would, I guess, last.
Can you name a few Eco Angels na medyo ka-close mo?
I'm close, especially with Mati.
As
We're super
Visa.
close. Yeah, it's Visa. Visa and I were very close kasi we're from the same team. And actually, we live dati last week. Iisa lang kami ng bahay. As you can see sa show, they say, sunod, pa dyan, nakasunod siya sa akin. So we're very close. And then also, I'm close with June, Gold, Ira, and Jill.
Jill. Okay.
But we're not close with Miss Jensen and Miss South Cotabato because hindi rin sila masyado umiimik sa GC.
Okay. So, medyo, pala. So, parang itong contest na to is, parang na-utilize niyo yung social media to communicate with each other. Tama
Yeah.
ba?
Yeah, especially pag may problem kami, we do ask them, ano gagawin nyo nito? So, we help each other. Kasi we're from the same Mindanao, so we have to be as one. So, we do not think of this as a competition, but also a sisterhood.
Eto, we'll take in more questions. If you woke up tomorrow and gained any ability or quality, what would you want it to be?
That's a tricky question. If I could wake up, siguro I would take the ability to change people's perspective, especially when it comes to IP, so into the indigenous people. Kasi hindi mo din kasi in reality, meron talaga silang discrimination when it comes to IP. So they, especially for those who are non-IP, they think of the IPs as a low-class people, as as yung parang mga, we have this term in Mindanao, pag IP ka, taga-bukid ka, yung ganon.
Oo.
So I want to change that one because now the indigenous people are very different. They're smart. They can do a lot. And then also I want them to love their art, especially when it comes to tapestries. IPs are good at that forte. So I want to change the mindset of people about how they look about IP.
Okay, next question is, with everything that you have going on, how will you handle the responsibilities of the crown if you are selected, if you win by July 5? So, syempre, balance yun with your work and ano. How will you handle your responsibilities as Miss Philippines Earth if you win the crown by July 5?
Diba? So, if I win the crown, so diba, you cannot serve two masters at the same time. So I have to give up one. So I think I would give up for now my career as a teacher since I'm still a part-time teacher and I don't have class to handle, especially during these COVID times. So I think for me to focus and to be that hands-on on the career that I've taken, so I have to choose to the role of ano of becoming a Miss Earth. So I have to give up my teaching so that I can focus and do works that can help Miss Earth also. So I have to give up.
Okay, so I will ask you to react on a couple of social issues that are somehow familiar with you. So, my first social issue is about cyberbullying. Have you ever experienced cyberbullying? And if so, how did you handle it?
Actually, I haven't experienced being sad na nabubuli on ano. But I have friends also. So how we handle is that, 'di ba, sa friend mo nakikita yung kakampi mo. So sa friend mo. So as a friend, you would have a concern. You don't want to see your friend being sad. So I do comfort them then kasi people are entitled to have their own comments, to have their own to have the right what they say. But you have to remember it's not them who will help you to succeed. It's you yourself. So you have to think that no matter what other people are saying, as long as you know yourself, you know who you are, and you are that familiar of yourself, then you won't get distracted. So you just have to think na hayaan mo lang sila. Kasi kung wala silang magawa, hayaan mo. Kasi you have to focus on yourself. Just try to focus yourself, then you can, then kung nakita mo may mali sa'yo, then you have to improve so that mas madami kang so you just have to think of yourself and then that's how you handle it. Let other people judge you, but don't let but don't let affect them. Don't let you affect them.
Ayun, so you don't need to be affected sa mga nakikita mo if you
Mm-mm.
really know yourself.
Mm-mm.
Now, my next question is, let's talk about yung pros and cons ng social media nowadays. You can relate it with your experience sa Miss Philippines Earth or kahit anong experience mo. So, ano yung pros and cons ng social media sa tingin mo?
So sa social media, let's do with the pros first. So ang pros niya is you can as you can use social media as your platform to raise awareness kasi it's a good thing that people are using social media. Siguro lahat na halos gumagamit ng social media. So it's a good thing as to start where you should share your platform, raise awareness to people, and then you can give lessons to people through social media. Ang negative side niya lang is through social media also, done din natin na i-experience, aside yung sinabi mo kanina, cyberbullying, and also the fake news. That's the certain issue that I want to, kasi fake news is very timely today. Kasi mayroong iba talagang tao na sinasadyang mag-share just to make, parang sumikat. So we have, I think, what the social media should do now is to check the validity and relevant, yung sources na legit, kumbaga. So we have to filter that one so that people hindi na magproblema yung ibang tao. Kasi meron talagang ibang tao na nabilis na nagtitiwala sa anong nabasa nila sa social media. So we have to correct that fake news.
Okay, so ayun. Piece of advice na na-learn natin kay Mia is you have to be discerning about what you read on social media.
Yeah.
Hindi yung paniwalaan agad because it
Mm.
might be wrong. Anyway, so my next social issue is with this pandemic going on, I mean, what are your thoughts about yung uh the government, we don't need to go political, but
Yeah.
yung the government going to GCQ, then yung iba yung iba umaasa sa social amelioration, yung iba may pera. Yung how has the pandemic divided people nowadays?
So,
Yung iba may pera, yung iba yung iba natanggal sa trabaho, yung iba nakakapag-continue pa. How has it separated people?
I guess na-separate lang yung tao through the, to the status. But, in the midst of fighting this pandemic, I guess we are not that separated. Ang nag-iiba lang is ang status natin, di ba? But we all have the same goal to beat this pandemic. So I guess we are not that divided. Only the status that we have, what makes us divided. Pero kung ano lang, hindi tayo divided when it comes to combating COVID. Kasi kahit we do follow implementations naman. We do follow strict guidelines. So we are united kung nag-follow tayo. So nadi-divide lang talaga tayo sa status. But with the goal and the aim of fighting this pandemic, I guess we are not that we are united on that aspect.
So how would you react? I guess you may have heard siguro sa balita yung mga or sa social media na yung mga lumalabas is pasaway. Yung mga lumalabas ng bahay is pasaway. How would you react on that?
So I guess that's normal naman kasi in anthropological ang tao kasi nagre-react siya pag nalagay siya sa isang sitwasyon wherein hindi siya sanay. So, may ibang tao, in order for them to cope up na yung feeling nila na kasi pag, diba, required tayo magstay lang sa bahay. And then, hindi lahat ng tao sanay magstay sa bahay. Kasi feeling nila, pag nasa labas sila, makahanap sila ng kakampi, doon nila nakahanap ang happiness nila. So, the moment na tinanggal mo yung happiness sa kanila, so, di ba, parang naghahanap din yan ng way to hahanap din ng way para makalabas. So we have to understand na yung mga pasaway na yan is their way to react on the thing that is not normal on their part. So that's how you should understand their perspective. Nanibago lang sila and then hindi nila na kaya i-handle yung nila. So that's why they resulted na maglabag sa rules.
Is there anything that you have learned throughout this pandemic na parang bagong skill, bagong experience na ngayon mo lang na-experience kasi nasa bahay ka lang? Meron.
So, through this pandemic, natuto akong especially to enhance my sketching skills. Since I'm into charcoal and graphite sketching, doon nag-try ako ng color pencil and watercolor. I also try that one. So through this pandemic, I enhanced my talent, especially in arts. And then I've also learned how to do calligraphy. So sa lahat, kasi para hindi lang ako maboard, hindi kasi ako yung tipo ng tao pag naboboard sa cellphone lang lagi nakaharap. Kasi kasi I'm a type of person kung nabubuhay na hindi masyado sa social media. I am not that type of person. So I just, when I'm bored, I always go back to my sketchpad. I do arts.
So, ayun. So, si Mia, hindi siya nag-aano sa social media, nag-flock sa social media. So, she goes back to her hobbies and her passions away from social media. Now,
you have this certain happiness when you do the things that you love the most. So, art gives me certain, nakaka-happy siya para sa akin, nakaka-relax. That's why I always go back to that para hindi ako ma-stress.
ayun. So, Another question we have here is what how would you deal with your failure, and what was your biggest failure, if ever you can share it to us?
How would I? Kasi my biggest failure, I consider my biggest failure is yung time na I was given a chance to join a drawing contest during the Araw ng Davao, where my family won't agree. So, kasi I am the type of person na ayaw ko magalit ang parents or family ko sa akin. So, I have to follow what they always say. So, yun na time, hindi ko siya tinanggap. So, I've learned na kung hindi, kasi may time talaga na nagsisisi ka na hindi mo tinanggap yung offer na yun. Kasi through that, it could help you a lot. It could help you to grow more. Kasi kung tinanggap ko yung offer na sumali sa painting na yon, maybe my parents would allow me to do fine arts. So that's the reason na every time you are given a chance or given a opportunity, you have to grab it so that you won't have regret in the end. So that you can when you grow up and then you can share to your future mga anak na I have experienced this one, I've joined this one. So you have something to share that where you can be proud of. So you have to grab every opportunity. So that's
Ayun, so may follow-up question sana is, how would you are you close sa parents mo? No, or hindi?
uh not I'm close with them, but my mom during yung buhay pa yung mother ko, uh not really. It's because I am always scared with my mom since she's that strict type of mother. So I'm
So
always afraid.
so my question is, how would you encourage fellow teenagers like you, teenagers and fellow ladies like you na parang to pursue their dreams regardless of how people will stop them from doing so, or kung kasi 'di ba we have this thing na hindi naman nila nakikita yung value ng gusto mo pero ikaw alam mo gusto mo yun, parang gano'n. So how would you encourage people to pursue their dreams and never be discouraged about whatever hurdles na ma-encounter nila?
I guess they should always step out of their comfort zone. So whether kung hindi papayag yung parents mo, you have to fight for it. Just like what happened to me. My parents won't allow me to join pageantry before. So what I did, sumali ako secretly. Sumali ako secretly na hindi nila alam. So my first pageant at school, isang family member ko, hindi nila alam na sumali ako. So pag uwi ko na lang sa bahay, na-shock na sila kasi I do have a sash, I got an award. So that's time, so they started to embrace what I love. So you just have to all to the younger generation, you just have to do the things that what makes you happy. Kasi in the end, hindi naman yung ibang tao ang nakaka-experience ng mai-experience mo. It's you. It's you who will treasure that experience. And it's you who will have that happiness in your heart once you fulfill what you want.
Ayun, so laging it's you muna. You when you love yourself and when you push yourself to attain your dreams, mas makikita yung fulfillment mo kasi yung pinipilit mo yung sarili mo sa bagay na hindi mo gusto.
Kasi hindi
Now,
na
moving
yung
forward,
nakaka-experience na.
kasi ikaw rin naman ang makaka-experience nun eh.
Kaya
So, parang
you have to follow what you want.
sa'yo yun. So moving forward, going back to your let's talk about your pageant journeys naman.
Yes.
Since you've told me this is your first national pageant, pero you've experienced pageants na before. So can you share to us your previous pageant experience before Miss Philippines Earth?
So I started pageantry when I was 21. Bago lang. Bago lang ako nagsa-start. And then my first pageant, I considered it as ano ba tawag ito? Kasi hindi ko talaga inimagine ang self ko dati into pageantry. So, ang ginawa ng classmates ko para ako ang sumali sa pageant is ninakaw nila ang ID ko. Sinabi nila na ibaborrow lang nila kasi may kukunin silang book sa library. So, binigay ko din. So, not knowing na-shock na lang ako nung yung organizer ng pageant, tinawagan ako for the practice. So, during that time, ako mismo na hindi ko alam, wala akong idea kung ano yung pageantry. So, during that time, I was shocked. Hindi siya ma-process ng mind ko. Lagi, kada uwi sa bahay, lagi ako umiiyak kasi I'm afraid what would happen. And then, after that one, after the pageant, yun, doon siya parang nag-open siya ng door into a lot of opportunities. So, mayroon isang tao na nag-mold sa akin na pinupush ako sumali sa ibang pageant. So, that's when I step up to join pageant, not in school, but outside school na naman. So, that's the time I experienced barangay pageants, then I experienced my first crown. So, that's it until I got here on Miss Earth. So, bale, sa later din na sumasali ako ng pageant, I enjoyed it. I love it. So that's why now I am here because I enjoyed it also. I enjoy it na.
So, you reached Miss Philippines Earth because of your willingness to actually do the entire competition. Now, what are you going to advise yung mga girls na hesitant mag-compete sa Miss Philippines? No, not necessarily Miss Philippines Earth, but other pageants na kahit alam nilang kaya nila, parang ayaw nilang mag-compete because sasabihin nila baka mag-fail ako or something, mga ganun.
So, kung I think I could only advise for the girls na wag maging negative when it comes to yourself. Kasi pag alam mo yung strength mo, why not use it? Use your strength as your greatest asset for you to win a competition. You don't have to think always for the negative side. Kasi if ever you always think of the negative side, if ever you always compare yourself, kasi we are different and unique. So we should not compare ourselves to other candidates. Kasi we shine in our own way. We shine differently. So kung lagi mong ikino-compare or lagi ka nagto-think ng negative, then nakikita din yan sa performance mo. So nakikita yan. So the more mo i-compare yung self mo, the more bumababa yung self-esteem mo, self-confidence mo. So in order for you, you have to think of your goal. Always think of your goal. Think of the reason why you joined. You have to think of that one. So kailangan mo lang talaga. Be positive always. And know your purpose. Kumbaga.
Know your purpose when it comes to joining yung pageants. Actually, towards all aspects of life na yan eh. Towards
Mm-mm.
anything na gusto mong pasukin, know your purpose. Kung
Yeah.
ano man yung gusto mo, basta alam mo na kaya mo, push lang. So moving forward, I would like to ask about yung mga preparations mo sa mga succeeding events. Like yung how would you prepare for example, yung Q&A, yung mga pwede mo lang i-disclose sa amin pag yung dumating ka na sa point na nasa Q&A ka na, how would you compose yourself to answering questions na pwedeng randomly iba to sa'yo?
So, kasi diba, beauty pageant is not just about beauty, but it's also with brains. So what I always do is I always equip myself, especially with the current events, not just happening in our country, but also around the world. You just always have to read. I always read news because it helps me to know what is happening on our place, what's happening around us. And then I do also reading of what quotation. Kasi I especially when I get nervous or I do search for a good quotation that would relax me. So during that, especially if this coming in question and answer, I think my best way for me to relax myself is, aside from equipping myself with the current events, I would read quotations that could help me, and would pray. Prayers is also my greatest asset.
Na-curious ako bigla kasi 'di ba beauty queens actually I've been watching competitions siguro yung mga other with other organizations with Miss Philippines Earth. Parang 'pag
Yeah.
nasa stage na sila parang or sa case ninyo pagdating niyo sa Q&A parang ang confident ng dating ninyo lagi, ng projection ninyo. So my question is, do beauty queens like you still get nervous or parang ano na,
Of course, sa akin, you would not experience the whole pageant kung hindi ka na-nervousin. So, normal na yan you have to get nervous. Pero once you speak, hindi mo dapat yan pinapakita ka sa tao. Kasi, especially when you answer questions. Kasi kung nakikita ng tao na you're nervous, diyan sila magsa-start yung magko-question if yung answer mo is right, tama ba or hindi. So you have to be confident because once you are answering, you are sharing your ideas. So it is your idea, so you have to be confident about that.
yun. So, pwede pa tayong mag-sample? Sample na natin, kunwari, if ever you, sabi, gawin, ano na natin to as practice.
Sige, sige.
Sige, if ready ka na?
I'm ready.
Ready ka na?
Yeah.
So, if ever you have um unlimited amount of money to share to people, give me 3 things that you will do with that money and why.
So 3 things that I would do. First thing is I would always give to my advocacy, give back. Since na-mention ko kanina Dipomunan organization, I would always support this organization kasi I value education more. So I want especially the IP learners to have a better education. So I would give money to the organization for them to be successful in their chosen field. Second is I would what do you call this one? Excuse me. I would use this money to share, especially in developing our barangay in Malita, Tubalan. Kasi not all people there have this access to internet, have electricity, have a water. So I want them to experience what I've experienced here in the city. So I would give that one, and then also, and I would give a better school facilities on our barangay in Tubalan, especially sa library. When I was there, the books there are very limited and not updated. So I plan to give funds for them to have a library where they could access new
Ayun.
information or so that their knowledge would grow and be updated.
Ayun, commercial lang. Si Visa is also watching. Visa Jane Moreno. Ayun. Hi, Visa. Kamusta ka dyan? So, my question is, if you could, next question is, if you could go visit any place in the world, where would you go?
I'd go to Japan. Japan is my dream place, I swear. I want to because I fell in love with Japan not because of the place but also with the people. How they value their culture, how they preserve their culture. And that's what I wanted, especially for our culture in the indigenous people. So I wanted to go to Japan to learn the skills and the things that I could get para ma-apply ko din dito, especially in preserving culture and heritage.
Ayun. So, my next question is, if you could talk to your 16-year-old self, so tama, 23 ka ngayon. So, if you could talk to your 16-year-old self, what would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Well, I should say she should have tried the things that she wanted during that time. she should not be hindi siya dapat natakot sa mga kung ano ang sasabihin ng family niya, ng ibang tao sa kanya kasi darating din sa point na magsisisi siya sa huli. So you have to grab the opportunity that is being offered.
Nasagot mo na yung follow-up question. Ang follow-up question ko sana is, if you could redo your life again, what would you redo and why? I guess, parang
Ay,
alam ko na yung
balik ako
sagot
sa
eh.
answer
Kasi,
ko.
ayun. So, nasagot na siya. So, my, another question is, mm, why should Mia Dela Cerna be the next Miss Philippines Earth?
I should be the next Miss Philippines Earth because I joined for a purpose. For a purpose of being, for a purpose of knowing that we, the Malitanos, have something to offer. We can be a good example to other places by showing how disciplined we are, and I should be the next Miss Earth because I do not I do not represent Malita as one, but I represent with myself the whole Malitanos behind me. Their support that they're giving me, what is the greatest thing that I can say kasi without their support, hindi ko mafe-feel na nasa competition ako. With their support, doon ko mas nafe-feel the pressure that they put on me, the mindset that they always think about me. That's the challenge that I take to have to give them the title as the Miss Philippines Earth. I want to prove to them that the first Malitanya being on the national pageant is not a waste.
Ayun, so, point taken. So, challenging Mia to be the next Miss Philippines Earth. Now, we're down to a few more questions. So, di ba since beauty queens, everyone in Miss Philippines Earth and even in other organizations, they have their advocacies, di ba? I mean, kahit anong organizations, they have advocacies. So, some of them have it nitong competition lang nila, while others have it before pa they competed. So, how would you sustain your advocacy should you after this competition? I mean, should you win or not win Miss Philippines Earth?
Kasi before I joined pageants, I have this certain love for my advocacy na kasi. So, my advocacy is the reason why I joined pageant. So, whether I win or lose, kasi if you win the crown, so parang it's a blessing na. But better if I do not win, I consider it as hindi lang naman dahil sa pageant ko kaya ginagawa ang mga bagay na ito. But I'm doing this is because of my will. Kasi hindi lang kasi gusto ko talagang tumulong, especially sa advocacies ko. So kung sa akin, totoo ang advocacy ko, hindi lang siya for the pageant requirement. But it's in my heart. I do have this certain love for the IP and for our oceans in Malita. It's innate in me.
Okay, so I think that will be it for tonight. Mia, can we get a few final words for you sa ongoing pageant? Anything you want to say to our viewers for tonight?
So, to all the viewers, especially to the Malitanos, please continue to support us and watch our upcoming live shows. And please do not lose hope, especially in these times of COVID. We have to maintain this positivity and be resilient. Kasi what we experience today is just a test of how we Filipinos are strong. So we have to show that Filipinos are really strong. So we have to always be positive and never forget to pray. Because prayers is the greatest answer to our problems.
Can you also promote your social media sites so people can be updated about your
So please do
event.
like my Facebook page, Mia Bernielle Bautista de la Cerna, and then my Instagram account, Mia for Green, and then please do like Team Faces also. I do post all the time to keep you updated.
Okay, thank you so much, Mia, for joining us tonight. Best of luck sa mga live competitions mo this week.
Thank you
I
po.
know medyo hectic yung contest, and I like to say thank you for gracing us this evening. So hopefully maging successful ka by July 5, and sana
Thank
ba after we get to talk to you again soon. Thank you for joining. Bye.
you.
Ba- Thank you, Mia. Bye-bye.